Good morning, guys. How's it going? Sorry for being a little late. I was trying to use StreamYard and it was giving me a bunch of issues, so I just jumped over to OBS really quick, so I didn't spend my whole time trying to figure it out. But yeah, Noah, what's up, man? Good morning. We see if I said that right. That's how you doing, Brett, Oscar. I have a hard stop today at 9 a.m. because I got to bring one of my hobbits to the doctor's for appointment. And healthcare in Canada, it took us like 6 months to get the appointment. So yeah, but yeah, let's go over Bitcoin really quick, and then I can take over any TA requests that you guys want me to take a peek at for the day, kind of thing. But yeah, okay. So Bitcoin recently, we tried to get it on a short here. We are waiting for the following. So in this value area, we wanted to have a change of character occurrence at the top of the value area right here. And we got it when we generated the strong low on the 15-minute, and we broke the strong low. However, how we broke it kind of destroyed our risk to reward ratio. And we were targeting the low side here. The value area low at the time was like roughly around here. But yeah, we ended up having a double bottom bounce against us, and then I had to rush to a birthday party thing with the kids. So this was all over the weekend. Yeah, we broke momentum, broke a double bottom, so that's when I decided to... Oh, no, it's over here. I'm kind of lost. But yeah, anyway, so because of the change of character occurrence gave us poor risk to reward ratio. I'm remembering now, sorry. Long weekend. We used a Fibonacci pull from here to, after we got the opposing double bottom, to tell us where we could go for the retrace. And that's when I jumped in after we started seeing failure in the lower time frames. I jumped in here, and then this double bottom here is what defined my early exit, and kind of basically told us that our stop loss was under threat. So I just got out early and notified the community that I had to jump out as well for the birthday party with the kids. But yeah, so this was like a small win. It could barely qualify as a win. It was like a 1-to-1, but it's better than having a loss, right? Then shortly afterwards, we built this like ascending head and shoulders, and I was anticipating for it to come up to this value area high, but we didn't have the structure to define a safe signal, so I never signaled anything. We got the confirmation of the break roughly around here, right? We lost this ascending support level. We broke here. We got the change of character occurrence, and now we're on our way down to likely, we got this previous POC right here. This previous point of control is extremely important. We don't want to use this as resistance. Like say here, we came up, we never got the lower low. So typically when we got the lower low, the probability of inducing a full rotation to the value area low was pretty high. And right now, this previous value area low from this value area range from historical price action is at 102K. And that would end up being, we could end up threatening our daily levels if we come down to 102K. And if we break our daily levels, then we could start going down a lot further. So I'm hoping that we get a turnaround at this point here, like where we're dancing right now. Like this is critical to protect Bitcoin from potentially getting us like a daily change of character occurrence and causing us a more bearish rotation down. So I'll zoom out and I'll show you what I mean. Let's go to the 4 hour. So here we have our previous value area from this range. We created our all-time high last time, right? And then we broke out of this structure here, this falling wedge, to define the target of 109K. We hit that target. We got a little bit of a higher high at 112K. So 100% of holders were at a profit at that time. And obviously, we saw a massive sell wall of 3,000 Bitcoin that generated this downtrend. And we've been seeing a sell wall just constantly chasing the price action, like driving the price further and further and further down in the order books. Lately, the sell wall has been a lot smaller. It's been around like 500 to 1,000 Bitcoin. But 500 Bitcoin during low volume, it's almost like it's acting like 2,000 Bitcoin, right? So if you have poor volume, then 500 Bitcoin could be a big deal. But here we have this previous value area data that we are kind of seeing the price action trying to honor as support. And so we're kind of like using this peak area of interest right here, where we have this rounding in the volume data. We're using that volume shelf as support right now, using the POC. Now that's if we lose this, then we end up seeing price action likely coming down to 102.4K. So I'm hoping that we hold these levels and we get a return back up, but it's not up to us. So it's whatever the market gives us, we have to prepare for. Going to the daily structure, we have a strong key level right down here. Like we cannot lose this, because if we do, we could come down and break into this previous value area right here. And breaking into 145 is the key level here. If we see that act as resistance, we could then see a full rotation back down to this previous value area low. But we do have a huge barrier at 97, 98K level right here. This is a pretty strong level. So even if we do get acceptance in here, it doesn't mean we have to go all the way down to the value area low because we have this big barrier. But if we do break that barrier, we get acceptance into that smaller value area, then that's just going to help bring the price down to 103K. So that's worst case scenario in my mind. Like we could rotate all the way down to 103K. But we first have to get acceptance to this value area, rotate to the bottom of that value area low, break into this value area, which will act as support initially, just like it did right here, and then get acceptance into it, and then we can get a rotation down to 103K after we break this level. So you got to take things in stages along the way. You can't just assume massive targets, or else you shoot yourself in the foot. And set alarms at these key levels, so you can look for specific opposing reactions that could induce you to leave the trade safely rather than accept a potential loss. But yeah, okay. But we have like 12 hours left on this daily candle. It started off pretty weak. We're golfing right now, so we'll see how this daily candle closes. We have almost 12 hours left, so lots of things could happen in this candle. But we'll be able to dissect that into the lower time frames to help define potential like front run entries, all that fun stuff. Right now we've got like a steep drop off. We're kind of like filling the CME gap created over the weekend. Like any candles created over the weekend are likely to be undone because of the CME impact. But we're coming down right now to this value area low. And as soon as I see a bounce around here, I'm just going to extend this value area. Well, merge these value areas together and include this price action into it. Actually, we can probably do that right now with a separate value area pull. Okay, there we go. Yeah, with this separate value area pull here, we can see we got a little bit double distribution, but that's because we have two ranges within it. But yeah, I'm going to take this data more critically first, see how we respond to this POC. If we get an opposing change of character here on like the 15-minute time frame, I'll be looking for potential longs, and I'll try see we'll hopefully get a full rotation back up to 106K, and maybe this could be a good extension of the range, because these ranges have been pretty crappy lately. So hopefully we'll get that a good extension of range, get acceptance into this little value area here that we just pulled, and then we can see a potential rotation back up while watching out for this point of control at 104.7. So that's Bitcoin. So my bias today is to prepare for a long. So I'll be focusing on longs, mainly because like we couldn't get in on the short today, or at least I haven't gotten on the short today. It's happened around like 4 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, no, don't make yourself sick trying to catch every trade. So yeah, here waiting for an opposing change of character. So I'll be looking for assets that might be positioning themselves similar to Bitcoin, so we can use them. So we can use Bitcoin as like an indicator of what could come for a potential safer trade with another asset. But this, in my opinion, because we have so many fair value gaps along the way up, our move back up could be just as quick as it came down. So I'm hoping we get the trade set up here so we can then get that full rotation back up and go range bound here for a little bit. But yeah, we did lose this momentum. We're at this little key level right now where we had the previous value area low. We have some consolidation, some interest at the POC. So we have lots of confluence here already. We just got to get the structural confluence. And if we lose this level, then our next little level we have to watch out for is around here. And if we do come below the point of control, we do not want to see it act as resistance with a break of structure continuation. Because our chances of rotating down to that 102.4 level will dramatically increase if we get a proper break of structure down here. But yeah, that's Bitcoin. I've got about 40 minutes left to check out some assets for you guys. Vacation, throwing XMR. We can take a look at XMR. Okay, let's see. Let's pull that up. Oh, we don't have an XMR chart, right? No, okay. So XMR, USDT. Look at it on KuCoin. Okay, we're tapping this previous key level here. Oh, we never ended up breaking it. Oh man, that was so clean. Yeah, that sucks. I missed that. Yeah, we were talking about XMR when we saw the last time we saw XMR. It was around on the 28th, right? Or maybe shortly after that. But we had this double bottom structure, and we were starting to form like this. A lot of assets were doing it at the time actually, and they all failed. Their bias break, right? We built like an inverse Adam and Eve kind of structure. It was incomplete. Like we didn't get the full rounded bottom. We didn't break this key level here. If we did, typically this kind of structure will give us a full rotation back up to the neckline and then actually break the neckline for a continuation. Instead, we maintained a descending. We get this momentum just been like punishing XMR, and it's so clean too. So it's so picture perfect. And then we fractalized, and we formed basically what we wanted it to do over here, right? We got the inverse V-shaped recovery, slow volume drop, right? Adding a bunch of liquidity here, like tons of it. And this would be our key level for the break after the break of momentum to target this level. But it did this right here instead. V-shaped recovery, slow volume crawl, key level here. Let me zoom in a little bit. And then we broke the key level. We retested the momentum. We got the higher high on this candle here. You could have jumped in there, stop loss guard below here, or if you're not feeling safe about it, right here. You'd watch this as a key barrier along the way, but you'd be targeting where all this liquidity has been added for this entire structure. And along the way up, we just finished grabbing it all. And it looks like it might be beginning to reverse after grabbing all the liquidity. We'll see. We don't have a full structural confirmation on that. But yeah, this is like pretty textbook. It'll be really easy for beginners to learn structure like this, because like you gotta, when you're trying to learn like order flow and how like stop losses and liquidation levels are placed, we have a situation here where it happens like we have so many break structures for a lower low, it's just insane. And we just been stacking more and more and more liquidity all the way down here. So this would be a really good like textbook example of how someone could use liquidity to help them with their bias. But yeah, that's XMR. Now in terms of like what to prepare for next, right now we're above a value area high, like a previous value area high from this range. And we kind of honored this as support. We honored as support through here as well. We got the break into it here, then we're using it as support here. So we get acceptance back inside that area. I know it's a relatively small one, but it's a strong point of interest. We could end up getting at rotation back down to the value area low at least. And if we break momentum, we could go back down further. So I'm thinking that, yeah, we're just probably going to get a brief pullback first before getting a continuation up. But we have no structure to confirm that yet. The only key level that we've got is this one right here. And we might generate a new one soon. But this is our primary key level right now for Monero, which is at like 132.52. Yeah, roughly, yeah, 132.56 roughly. So if we get a 15-minute full body candle close below this, the probability of us going to at least here is really, really high. I know that's not a very big move, but that's all we've got right now in terms of our structure. Okay, so what's next? We looked at XMR, we looked at Bitcoin. Don't forget to update the link to the tournament in your description. It's still the link to the May tournament. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I'll update that right after the live. Because we do got a new tournament. Hoorah. You guys crushed it in the last one. We had people up at like 300 and some percent. Let me just pull that up. Yeah, the last tournament, yeah, the winner was at 314% account growth, not just like in gains. And then we have second place was 121%. And like 10th, we were 3% growth. It's still extremely good. More than what the bank will give you an entire year. So we got the prizes given out for $1,600, $800, $600, $400. And this prize coming out as well, it's going to be the exact same, except it could be a lot more. It depends on the volume, what we get. We unlock more and more prizes based on the volume. And we can get up to $10,000. And we're doing a new tournament that does the exact same thing. 20% cash back on your trades and $10,000 prize pool based on the volume that unlocks it. And then when this tournament ends on the 24th of this month, we have another tournament on the 26th, except it's a much, much, much bigger one. So get ready for that one. That one's more like we're all on a team rather than like trading against each other inside the community kind of thing. So we all work on a team to try to get a huge cash prize. And like some of our tournaments we're usually in the top 10. So we might be able to grab that prize on Blowfin. So if you guys want to participate in the next prize, just jump into the server. You'll see the link down below, and then you'll see the link to be able to join the tournament in the announcement channel. But after this live, I will post it in here for you guys inside the description. I just got to update that really quick. Okay, so thanks for the reminder there, bud. And that, by the way, he was one of the winners of one of our tournaments too. Okay, so Cubic. So let's see what we have for Cubic. What do we got? So last time we looked at it, I was on the 29th. We're looking at the 30-minute time frame. Dive into risk-free contest and compete for your share of the 50K. Oh, another tournament going on with TradingView. That's funny. Okay, so we got no key levels drawn here. We got a lot of noise on this chart. We got uptrending momentum. It's more broad right here. Let's delete this. Delete this. Like a bat structure. This looks like a Fibonacci structure, one of the harmonic patterns. Let's see. Let's pull up on the 15. So you gotta adjust this. It's the moment we left. Okay. So again, Cubic has got his butt kicked against this POC. We got a little bit of front run to it. Well, yeah, we came up. This is a macro point of control from historical price action that's been kind of like weighing it down. And we just got our double top structure again. Basically like a micro version of what happened here. Just happened right here. We used the neckline off of the macro value area low, and we came down, retested it, had it act as a form of resistance, and we are pretty close. I think we're already at the measurable target for that double top because it's a relatively small one. So if we grab resistance to the neckline, click and drag, yeah, we just hit the target. And now we're at uptrending momentum. Bitcoin doesn't have a huge amount of influence over Cubic's price action, but it does when Cubic is range bound for sure. So if Bitcoin were to hold off of its levels, which looks a lot like Cubic right now, at this point of control, then Cubic should follow along with it with this uptrending momentum confluence and the previous value or low deviation. So if we get that opposing change of character, we could get a rotation back up, and based on the ascending resistance, we could come back up and actually get a proper retest to that macro point of control. So that's what I'll be potentially waiting for here. We don't have the structural confirmation yet, but that's what I'll be waiting for right now based on the positioning of Bitcoin against Cubic. If Bitcoin maintains its pace along the way down, if we lose this point of control and we come down to at least this low, then Cubic will lose this momentum and likely come back down to this order block right here at 14 parts per million, at 14,110. Okay. Oh, you made third place on this one too? Congrats, man. You're just getting free money. It's nice to just be able to do your own trading and get like an extra bonus on top of it. Okay. What's next, guys? We went through Bitcoin. We went through Cubic. We went through XMR. What else do you guys want to look at? It does look like most things are kind of positioned for a reversal so far. Out of everything we looked at, it does look like they're all kind of positioned the same way Bitcoin is. So we can use that confluence to help us out. All right, vacation. Have fun at work. See you, man. Well, since I'm not getting a request just yet, I'm going to go and look at what I'd like to look at, which would be the DXY really quick. Will alts rebound this month? That's a good question. We'll look at the others' dominance and confluence with the Bitcoin dominance and see what kind of opposing confluences or inverse correlations we can find. With the DXY, we're getting a lower low. It's the 15-minute time frame. You know, we're combating this critical level. Yeah, the DXY's been getting its butt kicked lately. And since we got that lower low, the probability for the rotation down here is a little higher, which is good in terms of the confluence that we're looking for with Bitcoin. Like Bitcoin does look like it's about to potentially reverse off a point of control. So that would likely mean we'll see a potential inverse correlation here where it will have continuation down lower. Lower time frames, like right now we're on the hourly. If we zoom in, yeah, it does have like that, looks more like a bear flag here. But if we get that bounce and then we break here, then we could see an inverse correlation with Bitcoin, where Bitcoin might reverse. But the DXY move is dramatically slower compared to Bitcoin. We just gotta keep an eye out on it just in case. Bitcoin dominance is still kind of slow crawling our way up in this key level. We got this ascending channel, like a rising wedge behavior. So it does look like, based on the posture, that we might see some strength in altcoins, at least today. All right, we got our change of character occurrence already on the 15-minute. So on the 15-minute, we're bearish. We could get that full rotation down here, which is the technical target for structures like this. So we could fall down to 34.30, which would give alts a little bit of a boost short term. But macro, let's zoom out on the daily. Yeah, we got the daily change of character occurrence like here. Either here or here. It's tough to see that. Yeah, so that potentially could have been a break straight. Either way, we got the change of character. We're riding against momentum right now as resistance, awkwardly riding against it. We could get that exhaustion soon, because this kind of structural behavior usually induces exhaustion. And we have the 50 EMA holding it up. If we break that in confluence with this key level, we get that rotation down to at least here, alongside with the retest to the 200 EMA. But this is a zone that we've been watching for, since 2023. We anticipate that this could be the top for Bitcoin dominance. We could go up higher. We're in a unique cycle where there's a lot of interest more in Bitcoin than there is in altcoins. It's not just driven by retail anymore. We have a lot of institutions. We have ETF providers. So we have lots of reasoning for Bitcoin dominance to behave slightly different than what we're used to seeing. So I'm thinking that we could potentially go up to as high as like the 70 levels, but I won't believe it until we break, obviously, 66.4. If we get above this, then honestly, a lot can be possible. Then we go to others dominance. This is where it gets weird, man. Like, it's just, so Bitcoin, like this dominance chart, we had a very reliable momentum line here from March 2017 that we lost. And we had it come up, even act as resistance. Right here, we confirmed it as resistance here. Like here, we were close a couple times, confirming it as resistance, but we never actually truly got that proper acceptance. And yeah, we got it here. And we came down to this key level that we were watching, and we've been fighting against it for a while, but we just got a lower low. So now I'm like a little nervous about alts and like how things could play out, but we can watch our key levels and see when we can get that recovery. Because for a while, like it was very predictable to be able to determine when altcoin season is going to occur, or a rally is, at least it was very, very predictable. Seasons are still, in my opinion, still very predictable. Like there's some rules you can follow on chain to determine when you should prepare for a proper altcoin season, but you want to get on the rally prior to the season confirmation, because you don't want to be buying at tops while things are in price discovery. It's not only nerve-wracking, but it's like just not a safe practice in general. Last time we were looking at the others dominance, we were looking at this descending momentum. We were waiting for this change of character occurrence here. We got it, and then we had a decent rally up, but then we had that like tweezer reaction after we mitigated the supply risk, tapping these previous lows, and it came down. And I was hopeful that this could have been a neckline for a potential reversal structure to define like a return back up to these levels here. But we never got that break. Instead, we broke a continuation pattern to the downside. On the lower time frames, it's a little bit more clear, but we have a bear flag posture here. And then we got that rotation down. We've already hit the measurable target for this flag, like based on the momentum. If we were to draw this out really quick, just so you guys know, anyone who's new, if you want to try to track the pace of momentum of the market, every structure has its own way of guiding you. So this flag here, this technical target is here. It's where this is where you would anticipate exhaustion. You got to pull the mast from the last point of consolidation or peak. If there's no consolidative period, then you take it from the peak to the support level. Then you click and drag that trend line to the point where we had the last retest after the breakout, and then you have your area of exhaustion. So we extended a little bit further past that. We did have some people like prepare. So this is basically telling you that most assets, we're building this structure. If you look at a majority of anything that's a part of the altcoin dominance, the others dominance, then it would show you this exact posture with most of them. And now we're trying to get that like V-shaped recovery. We're fighting against the previous resistance, or previous support. Now it's acting as resistance. And it doesn't look too healthy right now. We could break this level here, have it act as support, get that break of structure for continuation, and then rotate back up, hopefully to 7.8. But we do have the supply concern here. So that's telling us a majority of assets have a supply concern in their face, basically, that we have to mitigate in order for a return back to previous value areas. So you're going to see a lot of assets look just like this. Okay, going back to Bitcoin. Bitcoin's almost one of those assets, honestly. We're getting that point of control reaction that we're kind of hoping for. So now we just want to see our head bump off this a little bit, and then come back down, get a lower low, like scoop up the newly added liquidity, and then see New York, what it usually does, like grab all the people that are in the race, scoop up the liquidity, and then come up, grab the buy side liquidity, and hopefully drive it up this time. But I'm more bullish today than bearish. Okay, what to expect from Fed speech at 10 a.m. Yeah, that's a good point to pull that up. Let's grab the Forex calendar. Today we're on the 2nd, so let's refresh this. Yeah, we got Powell speaking today. Might bring up rates. I think that we have quite a bit of time before they talk about reducing rates. It's they're the data that they usually depend on to determine, like CPI, for example, or just the strength of like jobs, all that stuff. The data that they usually depend on to determine when they should be reducing rates, it's being like manipulated a lot by these tariffs. So until the dust settles with the tariffs, I don't think the Fed's going to touch the rates. And if they do, I don't think it'd be very smart. So I think that they either should or are going to be waiting for a little bit of time before they adjust the rates. So they might just be giving people a reminder that they're not going to touch anything. So I think that whatever happens from this is likely going to be priced in already. But when they talk, you should be very careful about trading. Just be super cautious, because some people trade off just how he stands. So what kind of tie is he wearing? It's nuts. So whenever that guy talks, it has a huge impact over the market. And there could be, depending on what he says, it could cause like a short-term like whipsaw event that could knock you out of your trade. So I normally recommend people not to trade while Powell's speaking. Yeah, and it is at like our time zone, Eastern at least, it's 1 p.m. SPX and Ethereum. Sol took that 103. Oh, nice. Okay, 153. We were talking about that during the trade hunting call. Dot request. Okay, so I've got 15 minutes, then I got to go run and get my son to a doctor's appointment. But let's look at the list here. SPX. Was that a token, right? I know I always think of stocks when it comes to that. We'll go to Bybit for that. Oh, my bad. Didn't mean to draw through that. Okay, this is all we got on Bybit. So we can pull this value area here. We can pull this value area here. And got out of this zone here. We have momentum. We got to mark our previous value area low. Oops. Hold control, click drag to clone. Hold control, click drag to clone again. Got our previous POC. All right, cool. So we got our like primary key level. We got to watch for resistance, and we have a key level right here. We got to watch as well. Previous value high, and it'll mark the previous value low. It's pretty close to the value high of the structure, but we can see that the value low has been acting as resistance, so we got to watch that. So if we end up, so we have all of our key levels, we got to watch along the way down. If we end up honoring this as resistance, we have the momentum still holding it up. We're on the 12-hour time frame, by the way, for SPX. We rotate to the 4-hour. Let's see. So like, it's kind of undeveloped, but like right now, a key level, it's way down here on the 4-hour. That if this were to break, we get that 4-hour change of character occurrence. So I don't see a proper, oh, there's a proper pullback here. So we have a key level right here. So if this level right here breaks, let me just drop that down. This is a bearish key level. If you're a holder of XPX, you do not want this to break. But if it does, you can prepare for a retest to this value area high. Probably induce a bounce. And if momentum is maintained, then we're likely going to break, get acceptance to this value area, and rotate back down to the value area low. You got to be mindful of the 50 EMA. It doesn't look like it has a huge amount of influence over the price action just yet, but that's because it's young. It's a brand new asset. At least on this chart, it looks really young. So we have a bearish key level. And if we get acceptance into this value area here with a break of structure, we could anticipate a full rotation back up to 14 a 1.4959, but along the way, you got to watch up here where there's a lot of liquidity resting. We have to watch the previous point of control, where a large amount of people's averages will likely be while being inside this valley area. Points of control are an interesting way to like determine where a lot of traders interacted, right? That's where most of the volume occurred. So the probability of it being a large amount of people's averages from within this valley area is pretty high. So if we come up, it's very likely to act as resistance as they exit the market if they weren't able to before. They had another opportunity to exit here, but not everyone's able to react. So we just got to prepare for this potentially acting as resistance along the way. And it could just induce the continuation of what we're the behavior that we're kind of seeing here, right? Where we are getting that break structure, pulling back, getting the higher high, pulling back to retest, right? Going up, pulling back to retest, going up, pulling back to retest, and maybe do the same thing. Yeah, this key level is the bearish, and then we just want to have a break of structure in here for that continuation up. That's the SPX. I got 10 minutes to see if I can crush out a couple more. Let's look at Ethereum for Lana. Let's pull it up. All right, so Ethereum, we had a key level here that we really wanted to break. Never broke, unfortunately, so we can delete that. It was positioned the same way that we saw XMR positioned, where we had like that stiletto kind of pattern, right? A V-shaped recovery, slow crawl, and we wanted to have, we were trying to look for a key level for a front run entry, but it didn't really give us one. But we had this one for the strong continuation level, but we never broke it. Instead, we kept the liquidity there, and we maintained this downtrending momentum, not as picture perfect as XMR, but when we, especially since when we broke it, we didn't even try to come up to grab all the liquidity up here. We didn't really have very good structure to find a return back up anyways. We've established a retest off of this previous valley area low. And since we got that acceptance, that proper acceptance into the valley area, like right here, it looks like, we pull back and hit here. We can pull this fixed range and include it with this new active data. We can update this, click and drag this here. All right, cool. We got, sorry, I just heard something weird out my door there. We got this downtrending momentum. We're getting compressed against the valley area low. I would be hopeful for a SFP. If I were to choose how the market were to behave, I know it's not up to us, but if I were to choose how the market would behave, I would really want to do an SFP off of this. We have an established range right here, but we might establish one a little bit lower. But if we come up, grab that liquidity, close back inside a range, that could be a really good SFP entry for a rotation back up to the point of control. Our current key level for a rotation up to at least the point of control is right here. But I'm hoping that we get a little bit of at least a lower low. If we're not going to get the SFP, I want at least a lower low, so we can use this level as a key level to rotate back up to this level here. And then when we break that point of control, we can see that we stacked a lot of buy side liquidity here to help for a full rotation back up. And on top of that, that would complete like a Wyckoff model to allow us to get that continuation. So the momentum of this break would determine a potential move to 2,627. We got this, the order flow here. We got lots of stack liquidity. Big supply concern right here that we got to worry about. right at the value area high. So we could get those continuations all the way up to the value area high. But our first barrier, again, we want that change of character occurrence. I prefer the 15-minute time frame. It has a ton of trade participants. This is our key level now. Hopefully we get a new one soon. Watch this as our barrier. We might be forced to take profits if we get an opposing change of character, just like this, right? So if we get opposing change of character there, listen to the market, because we're likely going to get a rotate right back down to the value area low if that were to occur, and maintain this as a range rather than that inverse head and shoulders behavior that we're kind of hoping for. But that is Ethereum. I hope that helps you out. After the weekend, do you watch the 3D heat map for weekend's highs and lows? Yeah, it's a good habit to get into. I recommend everyone doing that, no matter what your trading strategy is, to look at the heat map to determine potential key areas of interest and to help control your bias. So let's look at like Bitcoin, for example. You can look at the newly added weekend liquidity. The 24-hour is looking fairly. We have some just a little bit below us at 103.707. Let's go back to Bitcoin. 103.707. Yeah, just below this point of control here, where we had this liquidity added from this break of structure. So we have tons of money here, but we did grab quite a bit along the way down. So there's more above us than there is below us right now. 105.977. But we have about $40 million that could be grabbed. And when we're coming into the New York session, we normally grab any competitor-based liquidity, like retail liquidity, before driving the price towards their target. And if I were a market maker, I would try to use this liquidity to enter and then this liquidity above us here to exit. So I can get in and out of the market with the least amount of price impact or at least amount of slippage. And one thing that's really helpful to do is to mark those levels. Like I like to use horizontal lines like this and give it a unique color that helps you identify it quickly as what you usually have it as. And writing the text coordinates. So 103,707, $40 million of liquidity. And we write how old it is, 24 hours. So yeah, hopefully we grab that liquidity first. We were kind of hoping for that pullback anyways, get that lower low, give us a good key level for a change of character occurrence. We'd have the simultaneous acceptance into the more macro value area pull that we have here. And then we can get that potential full rotation to the value high where we can grab the opposing liquidity that we have on our chart here as well at 105,977, which is almost a hairline above this tweezer top right here, right at the value high. So I hope that helps you out. Check out the 3-day. Yeah, I can check out the 3-day. Oh, my bad. Clicked on the wrong chart. Let's see. Yeah, same kind of thing. We can see how we got it's fairly balanced on both sides. The lower side looks 102.848. That's probably guarded. 102.848. Yeah, that's guarded. Let's determine really quick. Just going to go to order books. Then I got ahead of guys. I'm sorry. Yeah, we do have buy walls protecting that area. Not very big though. The 100 buy wall at 103.5, 103.4. There's about 200. So there's more confidence in buyers than there are sellers right now. We have no walls on the sell side, but on the buy side we have quite 3 walls building right now. So there we have more people preparing to buy with limit orders than we have people trying to exit with limit orders right now. Around 100, yeah, 103.5. So the lower liquidity that we see on the liquidation charts does look guards. We don't have to take it. Just because it's there doesn't mean we have to take it. And I know it feels like you're trading on a glass floor when it's not taken. But just think about what they need. What do they need to get in? And it's just the newly added liquidity here that they need to be able to get into the market. But yeah, doesn't mean you shouldn't rule it out. We just have to go through about 3 buy walls before we can get to that level. That's all. And if they are market makers inducing those buy walls or creating those buy walls, then it basically just tells us that they're going to be using the liquidity that we have stored there for that kind of move back up. You sound like you've read a lot of TA books. Which one rises to the top above all the rest? I would recommend looking at Mark Douglas. He's got some good books. But I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Like most of the books out there, they're best for helping you with your mindset and your risk management. The TA books themselves, like I've yet to find one where I haven't been really disappointed, if I'm gonna be honest. When it comes to like trading, it's just about establishing rules and understanding the probability of those rules. And if you don't know the probability of the rules, then you're just gonna be trading with emotion. So I just recommend, look up Mark Douglas if you're looking for a book to read. His stuff is really good. But there's gonna be other books like personal self-improvement books that are gonna help you when you're trading, even though they have nothing to do with trading itself. Trading has a lot to do with trying to improve yourself, and you'll understand that the more and more that you trade, like the longer you do this for. You're gonna notice that external forces impact your win rate. Like if you have a fight with a family, or you're not feeling good, or anything like that, like you're gonna notice that that's gonna have an impact over your win rate. Your emotional state and your mental state have a huge impact over your performance as a trader. It could cause you to ignore rules or FOMO into things that you'd normally not FOMO into. Or risk too much money because you have a situation where you might need more money. But you got to be as consistent as you possibly can. And Mark Douglas's books will help you with that kind of stuff. But I got to go, guys. Super sorry. I got to get my son ready for a doctor's appointment. I will be in the server if you guys have any questions. So reach out to me in the Discord if you need help with anything. And if I find a setup, I'll give you guys a signal. But it'll be based on what we spoke about today during this live. I'm waiting for that pullback so we can get the opposing change of character. Ethereum does have a pretty good structure. So I appreciate you, Lana, bringing that up. We might get a potential SFP. I'm hoping for a pullback off this after we retest this momentum, so we can get this as a key level, and maybe we can front run it with an SFP to rotate to the POC. And then if we break that POC, we get a rotation back up here. But yeah, that's pretty much all we got so far. It's a slow morning. We got about 30 minutes before the volume likely picks up. But yeah, you guys have yourself an amazing day, and reach out to me if you need help with anything.